What's going on? Welcome to another day of mobility. Let's take a spot on your back. Find a nice comfortable spot on your mat. Taking some time to focus on your breathing. Finding a nice relaxed headspace. Directing that air deep into the lower abdomen. Mentally just go into your happy place. Today's routine is focused on the shoulders and the neck. Let's start with a little body scan, starting at the head. Just relaxing the muscles at the base of your neck, through your face, through your brow. On the next exhale, imagine softening through those traps, through your pecs, through your lats. Feeling those shoulders sink a little heavier into your mat. Finding that pace of your breath that helps you find calm. And let's take one more long, slow, relaxing breath. Slowly let go of that air. And we'll dive into some left infraspinatus. So your infraspinatus sits on top of your scapula. So just taking some time to gently pan along the surface of your left shoulder blade. And with your lacrosse ball, looking for what needs attention. And then finding the right amount of tension to apply. And then settle back to your breath. Keeping your breath sink to that target tissue as you let go of air out of those lungs. Imagine that whole shoulder complex just going to sleep. Mentally staying nice and chill. Allowing yourself to enjoy the moment. Letting go of any tension. Turning off any muscle we don't need. And allowing everything to slow down. Let's take one more breath here. And as you let go of that breath, we'll shift into the left lat. So still focusing on the same shoulder. Taking your attention to those wing muscles. And that can be tight anywhere from into your armpit, down along your ribs, towards the middle of your back. So do some panning through that muscle. Find out where you're carrying tension. Experiment with how much pressure we need to relieve that tension. Doing your best to stay passive and focusing on your breath. On every exhale, imagine that lat just going to sleep, letting go of any tension with the air. It can be useful to release in a position of restriction. You tend to struggle to get your arm overhead. Moving your elbow above the plane of your shoulders can help free up that tissue and help you feel out how the lats respond when we are overhead. Let's take one more breath here. Just sigh out that breath. We'll move into the left pec. So working through that big chest muscle, doing some panning, looking for where it's carrying tension. It could be in tight around that collarbone, could be around the sternum, could be around the armpit, could be right in the belly of the muscle in the middle. Everyone will be a little different, so feel out what needs attention for you. If you feel that tissue start to let go, you can start to lean in and apply a little deeper pressure. Or you can move on to a no tissue around the area. Just really choose your own adventure and just getting better in tune with how your body's responding to this pressure. We never want to dive into pain. We just want to relieve that tension, allow us to move better. Let's take one more breath here. And as you sigh out that breath, let's grab a PVC pipe or a broom handle. We'll move into a left javelin stretch. So in a javelin stretch, we're going to hinge at the hip. Imagine we're throwing that pipe through the floor, feeling for a stretch through that shoulder in an overhead position. And find an angle of your arm that you tend to struggle with. You struggle directly overhead, hold your pipe directly overhead. You struggle more around 45 degrees, hold your pipe out at a slight angle. And while we're here, feel out what muscles feel like they're holding you back. Could be your lats, could be your pecs, could be your T-spine. Whatever feels like it's holding you back, just try to consciously get passive. Now let's start to slowly get active through that shoulder. Imagine gently pressing that pipe into the floor to resist a stretch. Slowly ramping up tension as we go. Big tension here to finish up. 3, 2, 1, and gently reverse. Squeeze through the posterior delt. Gently pulling yourself deeper into a stretch. Actively pulling further as we go. Let's finish with big tension. 3, 2, 1. Let go of that breath. Fall back into a passive position. And just relax through those shoulders. You may find you're deeper into the stretch at this point. And if we're not quite there, no stress. It'll come. Just trust the process. Let's take one more breath here. As you let go of that breath, we'll grab that lacrosse ball again and focus on the right side. Starting with that infraspinatus, pan through the surface of your right shoulder blade, looking for what's carrying tension there. And look for what type of attention it needs, what kind of angle we need to lean at, and how much pressure it needs. How much we leverage ourselves into this. And the only way to know is by experimenting and paying attention to that feedback. Paying attention to how your body's responding while we apply that pressure. And every chance we get, focusing back on your breath, staying nice and passive. Just imagine that target tissue molding around that lacrosse ball as you apply that pressure. Sticking with that rhythm of breath that helps you stay relaxed. And generally, a slower breath will help slow your mind down, to help slow your body down, and help us get into a state of healing and recovery. And let's shift our attention to the right lat. So working through that right wing muscle. This is a big muscle. And if you're not sure where to go, just try panning through the entire muscle. Could be into that armpit, could be towards the middle of the back, could be near the middle of the muscle, belly. No one's really going to know what's tight on you except you. So your version of this may look very different than the video. Just feel out what feels right for you. And when you've got that right location, the right angle, the right pressure, focus back on your breath. And use that breath to help you find calm in that target tissue. Directing that air deep into the lower abdomen. Breathing through the nose if you can. And just scanning through any muscle that may be tense that we don't need right now. Let's take one more breath here. Slowly sigh out that breath. And we'll shift our attention to the right pec. So face down on that lacrosse ball. Handing through that whole pec muscle. Searching for what needs attention. The angle of tension it needs. And the amount of pressure it needs. These are all variables we can play with. And if these are new exercises for you, err on the side of going easy. And as we move along into the process, gradually start to be a little more aggressive, depending on how your body cooperates. And imagine as you're exhaling that air, that your pec is exhaling that tension. Letting go of any stress we're carrying. Mentally staying in your happy place. We'll take one more breath here. Take your time letting go of that breath. We'll pick that PVC pipe back up and jump into a right side javelin stretch. So again, find the angle of overhead that needs work. Maybe that's overhead, maybe it's 45 degrees. Maybe it's some kind of combination somewhere in the middle. Just feel out what you need. And then when you're there, pay attention to which muscles tend to be restricting you. And consciously try to get as passive as you can through that muscle. If it feels like it's holding on to some tension, focus on your breath and bring those relaxing vibes into that target tissue. If we're finding depth in the stretch, it's by being passive, not by being aggressive. In a few seconds, we will get active. And let's go ahead, starting nice and easy, pressing that pipe into the floor, resisting the stretch, slowly ramping up tension as we go. Let's add some big tension here to wrap up. 3, 2, 1, and gently reverse. Squeeze through those posterior delts. Actively pull yourself deeper in to that stretch, ramping up tension as we go. Big tension here to finish. 3, 2, 1. Let go of that breath. Find a nice passive state through that shoulder. And find whatever position of stretch feels right. Focus on staying nice and passive through any muscle we don't need right now. And we'll take one more breath here. Take your time letting go of that breath. move into a puppy stretch. So in a bowing position, with your hips roughly above your knees, targeting shoulders and a little bit of mid-back. Find a comfortable position here, find a comfortable level of stretch, and focus on your breath. Mentally staying passive in as many muscles as we can, but especially that target tissue. Softening through those shoulders as we go, softening through that mid-back. And in about 10 seconds, we'll gently get active. So our tension in the puppy here is the shoulders. So we're going to imagine pressing your palms down into the floor. Let's go ahead, starting with nice easy pressure. Pressing with some force, some further force as we move through. And big tension here to finish up. 3, 2, 1. Let's gently reverse. Imagine pulling your armpits closer to the mat, squeezing through those posterior delts, slowly ramping up tension. And big tension here to finish up. 3, 2, 1. Let's let go of that breath. Find your passive puppy. Focus on your breathing. Mentally go to your happy place. Just relaxing through those shoulders. Focusing on quality breaths. Just enjoying the moment. One more breath here. Take your time letting go of that breath. We'll move into some neck circles. You can do this seated. Start by bringing your chin towards your chest. Slowly dragging your chin along your chest towards your shoulder. And then tilting your head back. In an extended position, rolling it all the way to the other shoulder. And then dragging that chin back to center. And we'll keep repping through this, each rep getting a tiny bit more aggressive towards that end range of your neck. Being careful not to press into pain. So whatever that tissue's comfortable with and ready for today, let that be the end limits of your range. Just challenging yourself to go a tiny bit more aggressive each rep into those corners. Create more stability around that neck. And we'll finish off this last rep. Take a breath, and we will call it a day. Thanks for coming out today, guys. Hope those shoulders are feeling great. Hope your neck's feeling great. If you liked the video, remember to subscribe and like, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.